Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Stat Check episode 167. This episode is titled Three Wounds is the New Four Wounds, and it is the 13th of January 2026. I am Innes. I am joined by Nathan and Anthony. We've got the original group with us all here. I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful evening. My voice is a little short, so I might let other people do a lot of talking this week. But let's start with the easy bits. Anthony, Nathan, how you doing, guys?
Me first. Or
Go
Nathan
for it.
first.
You go first.
Okay. I'm pretty good. I just got back from Vegas. Seeing Ben was great. The team tournament was good. The way it ended was weird. And everything else was fine. Yeah, that was pretty much it. That was a good time. I'm sure we'll talk about it a bunch in the post breakdown. Pickles learned how to open doors apparently today. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else super much going on. Everything that I would talk about would be contained in the talking about playing in the LVTT portion of the thing. So that was what I did last week. Besides get sad about the constant new releases and the way they're going. But that can also go in the future us portion of things.
Yep.
So
All of that goes in the later box.
yep.
Everything
Nathan,
goes
how
into
about
the later box. Things are good. I start my new job on Friday, so it's like my last week of freedom, which is good. Right in time for a 3-day holiday at the university. So I go in, do like HR stuff all day, and then go home for 3 days.
Nice.
Otherwise, I've been assembling a Chaos Space Marine army, and getting it ready. So I've got Gal Vorback as possessed, and they are wicked cool models. Even if they are all, it's going to be 2 of the 5 poses that
They're not
have for the
WYSIWYG.
unit.
They have bolt pistols.
They're also a little small. They're a little.
They're a little small. They look humongous next to regular Marines.
Do they?
Yeah, they're quite big. They're like bigger than Chosen.
Yeah, they might just be smaller than possessed, right?
They might be. I'll just mix them into units then. They can be 5 and 5. It'll
fair.
keep some weird. They're not shooting anything anyways. They don't have the grenade keyword. No line of sight shenanigans, probably. I built Abaddon.
I agree.
Yeah. I built Abaddon with a face mask because I don't want to paint his face more than I have to. Yeah. The Chosen kit is really nice. That's about it. All the Chaos Space Marine kits, very nice.
They did a
Gal
good
Vorback,
job.
yeah, that's it. They're nice. And that's it. That's all that's fit to report. I played into a Space Marines army with the Chaos Space Marines list. Into an Ultramarines list and tied it on last turn. So 78. And that was kind of it. That was my whole week of 40k so far. Not as exciting as Innes or Anthony's, unfortunately.
I had nothing really happened for me.
That's true. No big things happened for Innes over the weekend. None whatsoever.
No. So obviously, I finished reading the second book in the Tainted Cup series. I finished A Drop of Corruption. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was much better than the first one. And I really enjoyed the first one. So the second one being an improvement was pretty good. I watched the new Glass Onion movie on the way up from
It's
Nottingham.
really good.
Which was really good. I really enjoyed that one. I thought it was
Yeah.
a lot better than the second one, but maybe not as good as the first one. But Wake Up Dead Man, solid. I recommend. I've got The Devils by Joe Abercrombie set ready to get written next. That's tomorrow's job.
Nice.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've done recently. I went to Nottingham, played a super major. I played some Blades of Ultramar shit. It went pretty well. We'll have a chat about it later. I went to Warhammer World. We had dinner at Bugman's. I bought a Deceiver.
Why would you buy a Deceiver, Innes?
I have no idea. I also,
No
to be
idea.
fair,
Bro got deceived.
just gonna rip my cable directly out of my laptop.
Fuck this noise.
I also bought this guy. I finally managed to get a hold of.
that
Been
guy's
waiting
super
for
cool.
Ages. So I
Yeah.
think I do now have almost every patriarch sculpt that's ever happened, except potentially the one on a throne, because I do have like the original lead one from like 1989. I use that as my patriarch when my opponents are chill. So I think I might
Nice.
have all of them.
All you
except
need is that little car that they used to have that you could bring them with as well.
the limousine. Yeah, no, I'm
The
not.
limousine.
I'm not like gonna like deliberately try to get one. And then I came back with this like giant obelisk thing. which is pretty cool. I do recommend winning one of these if you can.
That's a cool trope.
It's pretty cool. It even says Nottingham on it.
Wow, you
Is
even
it-
know
is
what
it even
event you
spe-
won.
It's
Is
probably
it spelled correctly?
I tell because it's mirrored in this.
Hmm.
I don't
Quite
know.
nice.
That looks good.
Yeah, definitely top 5 trophies of that I've got.
Yeah.
Ones like the Cali Couple Slate one, which is like actually just super sick.
You might have to fix your
pretty good.
microphone, Innes.
Closer to the face.
Yeah.
There we go. I'll try not to wrench it out with my foot when I lean over again.
I just figured
directly off my head. And then I've got like nothing on this weekend, and then I'm gonna be in London for a month. So weird times.
Ooh.
So obviously we'll talk a little bit more about Nottingham when we do the post-show stuff. But not really done a ton outside of that. It turns out when you take 4 days off to go to Super Major, you don't do a ton of other stuff. Oh, I read a bunch about these new Necron guys. They seem quite good. Again, it's in the later box.
What?
Shall we make this a nice and easy turnaround and get just straight into the stats, Nathan?
Sure.
Why don't you tell us how the metagame is shaped up as we ended the previous metagame when we move into the new one?
Yep. So this last weekend's the bridge weekend between essentially like new Necrons and Space Marines detachments releases and them being live and basically all the events. And like the title of the episode says, Victrix Guard going from 4 wounds down to 3 wounds. We do have data from that because a series of events used the new stuff. And so I've split all that off. So we're going to talk about a relatively small subset of data just for kind of what we have for people playing the new thing. Because people are always interested in the new thing. Nobody really gives a shit about the old thing. That's just how things work. So again, this data set's relatively small. It's 200 players and 918 games. So let's not go too crazy. But go as crazy as you want. I won't stop you. Have fun with it. But the top 5 factions all have less than 10 players. So that's just, I'm going to warn you ahead of time. Number 1 was Thousand Suns. They had 7 players and a 77% win rate. Again,
what?
You heard me.
Guys, these sounds are terrible. Nobody play this army. Please, for the love of Christ.
They had an event. They had 1 event win, 2 top 4s, 3 top 10s for a 2.6 over rep. Chaos Demons had 4 players, which, just so you know, is 2% of the meta still, and a 63% win rate with an event win, 2 top 4s, 2 top 10s, and a 4.55 over rep. Then you got Tau with 5 players, 2.5% of the meta with a 61%, but no over rep. Drukari with 3 players and a 61 and no over rep. And then Emperor's Children rounding out the top 5 with 8 players, 4% of the meta, and a 60.6% win rate with a single top 4, which is their top 10 and a 1.14 over rep. At the bottom,
those numbers hurt.
Yeah, at the bottom, it's very little data. This will all be on the website on the data dashboard in a little bit as well, just for folks. Imperial Agents had a singular player, and they're the worst faction currently with a 0% win rate. Sorry to that lone Imperial Agents person. 5 Grey Knights players with a 14.3 and a single top 10.
14.3?
14.3% win rate for Grey Knights.
14.3?
Yeah, 14. Yes.
Jesus.
It's not good.
Christ.
It's bad. Eldari had 7 players and a 32% win rate. Orcs had 2 players and a 35.4% win rate and a top 4 and 2 top 10s. Sisters round out the bottom 5 with 8 players and a 38% win rate and 2 top 4s and 3 top 10s. Other event winners from the weekends are Space Marines, who had 21 players, making up 10% of the weekend and a 43% win rate with 2 event wins, 5 top 4s, 8 top 10s, and a 2.16 over rep. Necrons won an event. They had 16 players, 8% of the meta, 50% win rate, 1 event win, 1 top 4, 3 top 10s, and a 0.57. And that is all of the events that used it. Just 5 events using the new slate and new detachment stuff. Just as some examples real quick of some data that I ripped out from the data set. Since people probably want to know how the detachment's doing, most of the people who were playing new detachments were playing Pantheon of Woe, which had a 61% win rate. And then the only thing that I thought was kind of terrifying is that Scintillating Legion has a 66.9% win rate, and that's across both sets of data.
That might be Scintillating Legion might be too good.
Yep.
Maybe Lord of Change shouldn't have gone up 50% damage and 10 points.
Even 50% is like not actually right? It's 50% on average, but the reliability alone is
a lot,
quite a bit. Like flat 2 would have been a buff.
Otherwise, hidden away in this data are a couple more things that I find really amusing from this weekend. The Champions of Faith had a 72% win rate over the last weekend. Talons of the Emperor had a 71% win rate.
That's
which I think is
good.
Which I think is mostly one person because it's only 3 people with data.
Yeah. Is that from
based off the number
500 worlds of data, or is that all data?
That's from all the data from the weekend.
Yeah, and that's probably mostly just Sam Nash.
Yeah, it's mostly him. And that's kind of it, unless anybody has a question about something specific.
What marine detachment had the highest win rate this weekend?
Space Marines. Firestorm did with an 80% win rate in one player. It just had one player though. Gladius is still continuing to do well at 62% win rate with the most players, and then Blades of Ultramar is the second most played and the fourth most by win rate, 55.6% win rate for that. And that's just because Stormline's at a 75 and that 80% for Assault Force.
It's good to know that Gladius and Legal Resistant Gladius are the first and second best marine detachments by play.
Yeah. I mean, then if you go to Space Wolves, their best detachment is Stormlance or Gladius as well, just by the numbers. So there's that.
And I'm willing to bet it's the same when you look at Dark Angels and also probably also Black Templars.
And then it looks like Thousand Suns must have won their event with maybe Warpforged Cabal because it has an 100% win rate over the weekend.
Was that Michael Mann? Sounds like Michael Mann.
Sounds like it could be.
I'd have to pull it out of the data.
Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the data that kind of goes in. There's a lot more events that happened over the weekend, but that's kind of all that is really interesting to people at this point.
How is Thousand Suns Change Host doing? Asks Latin at Sax.
Sure. Thousand Suns Change Host. Changes of Deceit had a 60% win rate. They had 2 or 3 players, depending on 2 players probably.
I blame the birds.
Grand Coven had a 58.7 and Rubrikai Phalanx had a 54.4. And then Chaos Demons, like we already said, is just mostly scintillating. Necrons data is still pretty small. Pantheon of Woe had the 60.9, like I mentioned, and then Curse Legion had 2 players and had a 40% win rate. And then nobody has played the Canoptic detachment as of yet, as far as I can tell.
Yep.
Or the Cryptic detachment, rather. That's basically it.
It's got one really good gimmick, but I'm not convinced that makes a detachment really.
Tomb Blade's doing 30 mortal wounds to something reliably.
It's very funny, but
it is very funny.
Are you really struggling to kill infantry? Right? Is that a thing?
It's so hard.
It's so difficult to kill infantry in 10th edition, right?
So hard. You don't have any tools in a Necrons army to do that. Not a single one. It's just Tomb Blades or bust in that one detachment. And that's your only means of which disposing of those elite infantries.
I bet it fucking rips in the Necron Warrior mirror match.
Probably. It probably just rips in that one match where they just all vanish in one haze.
Do you want to see a magic trick?
But yeah, that's it for the data. We'll probably start to see most of the events this weekend actually use it, and then the week after will be when all the events are using the new detachments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hope every event this weekend's using it. It'd make life so much easier for everyone if Victor's Harbor just 3 wounds.
It would, but we also have a reveal event on Friday, so who knows what's gonna.
We do. I can't wait to see all these new Marine rules. It's been so long since I've had an Ultramarines buff.
We're gonna get a new Reboot Gilliman sculpt or something like that, and he's just gonna be like a brand new one with more.
Maybe they'll put the new Anger on it to 40k.
That guy looks terrible. That model's awful. I'm sorry, Forge World Sculptor.
You don't like Crackhead Anger?
Good. No. I can tell why Sanguinius was able to beat him back to back with Kabanta, another Bloodthirster. It's because the man's got no muscles left, and that's kind of it.
It's just because Angron's bitch mad.
He got pretty jacked between then and the 41st millennium, at least. But
yeah, right on time to get his ass whooped by a human lion, dude.
Well,
Oh,
the
Lion's
lion's
Fighter,
not
yeah.
human. The lion's not.
He's
human.
not demon boosted, is he?
True.
Angron doesn't have fight first.
And that's exactly why he got fought first.
But the Angron
That's
loses
why.
every 1v1 with Fulgrim in the game as well. So
He loses every 1v1 in the books, just all of them.
So what you're telling me is that Angron is the avatar of Kane of Chaos.
Yes, he's the new avatar.
Avatar of Korn,
actually.
bro. It's
Yeah, there you go.
Fantastic. All right, Anthony, why don't you kick us off and tell us a little bit about how your weekend was?
so we went to the Las Vegas team tournament. It was a 5-person team event run on the NTL format, but a adjusted one. So basically the way that it worked is that you put up a defender, you get to pick, your matchup of the two offered to you. That part is pretty traditional. You pick your table, and then they pick what mission you play on of a set of available options. What this eventually ended up meaning is that I was our first defender all 5 rounds. I always picked layout 8 if it was available. Once we lost the roll off and the other team picked 8, that only happened one time. The one time that happened, I picked layout 1 and still played on Hammer and Anvil. So I played Hammer and Anvil 5 times.
Fantastic. Isn't that just your favorite way to play a Warhammer?
Or
by the way?
4 times. I think it was 4 times. And then I played Tipping Point once. I don't love this format. I get what they're trying to do with regard to making more of the GW tables usable. I was able to play as a mono melee army and play 5 rounds of a team event without, wanting to throw myself off the 16th floor that we were on, right? Which may have not
start,
been the
yeah.
case had we done a more traditional pairing cycle, right? Now, that all said, there are other ways to solve this problem. Most of them involve using WTC stuff, right? I think that given the constraint of really wanting to force GW terrain, this is probably the best middle ground you're going to get in terms of what you can do in that space. What it did mean is that, at least for me, my filling out a matrix was basically a complete waste of time. Some of this is just like the pairings and 5s, but it just doesn't matter because I'm just gonna defend because there's only 2 tables that I can really play on in any given round, and I'm gonna take the least bad of 2 options presented to me. And what that will be is a call that I will make when we look at their comp when we get there pretty much every time. So in the space of not wanting the heavily try-hard team to be able to over-prepare and then beat teams on prep, it accomplishes that goal if that is one of the goals. So that was that. As far as baseline event stuff goes, I think the hall was a bit crowded and cramped. It was not where LVO was. We were LVO was in a big convention hall where there's a bunch of room. We all saw the stream, right? There was space around all the tables. That looks great. They went with a different hall for this one. It was cool. It was like I said, it was way up on the 16th floor or something. It had a cool outdoor area that probably could have been utilized for some table space or something, because it ended up being quite nice out. Obviously, they don't know that it's not going to rain or whatever both the days, but it just ended up being a bit like the way people describe UKTC events, at least now, where there's 5, 6 tables in a row. If you're on the middle table, you're either running around, but the rows are also quite close together. So in my round 2, when I played Tucker, the new shiny Art of War boy, he was playing with the Florida Monstars. We ended up just crawling under the table back and forth like a tunnel system. When we needed something on the other side, because the other side of the table had too many, we were in the dead center and everyone had stuff that basically prevented us from getting to his side of the table. So we just made a little tunnel under our thing. We moved all our stuff out of the way and just whoop, whoop, back
So
and
Sam
forth.
brought the wrong NIDS attachment, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, exactly. He could have been tunneling, dude. So
Talk about
that's
getting back to his roots.
yeah. Back into the mines, bro. Working on my dwarf ancestry here. So that side of things was not the best.
Sure.
But the event ran smoothly. It ran on time. For the most part, each round was quite good. We didn't really have to fuck about with judging too much, but like my understanding is that they were fairly easily accessible and things like that. They ran like a clean award ceremony and stuff. For the most part, like the event ran fine. It was just like a bit tight. I think they could have made the experience a lot better by just having like 2 less teams or like 4 less teams and just adding a bit of space. They also could have just went with a different space if they were going to put that many people in the room. So either or would have been, preferable. But aside from that, we ordered in lunch. Between Ben and Danielle, Ben's missus, they handled, everything for us for, all the meals of all the days, basically. Ben's a king. Handled all the logistic stuff, so we didn't have to worry about that or think about any of that. We had Dan coaching for our team. Obviously, we were well taken care of. Dan is God's gift to coaching. So, and what else? I mean, that was pretty much it. We played 5 good rounds. We played against the team that ended up getting third, like I was saying before, in round 2. We got to the end of the event, and basically the way it worked is that there were 3 undefeated teams. It was us, the other Art of War team, and Zugzwang US, a team made up of largely the US Academy and advisors, led by Glenn, who's good friends with the German, hence the Zugzwang tag. The way the pairing shook out was that our team paired into Zugzwang. Art of War got the pair down into a 3-0-1 team of plucky soldiers from New Mexico, whom they promptly slaughtered for tiebreakers. We did beat the Zugzwang team, but not to the margin that we needed to be able to catch up to the other Art of War team. So our team got second, and they won the event. So Art of War had essentially placed first, second, and partial third because the Florida Monstars had 2 Art of War players on there as well. So
Art of War quite good when
Art of War American event, big money, very nice. So I didn't bully your Glenn, Lewis. That was Robbo's job. Robbo bullied your Glenn.
Scintillating and quite good into Tau by the sound of things.
Scintillating, yeah, he played them all weekend. So Sam wrote a Tyranids list spiraled into a Tyranids list that he hated. When we got to the event, he was like, Anthony, my list is terrible. It's going to be so bad. Oh, God, it's going to be so bad. Oh, God, it's going to be so bad. And we got there, and the army did a really good job of aiming rupture fexes at people in pairings and making them go, you feeling lucky? And then all of them went no and took the Sint instead. So our pairing cycle was the exact same all 5 rounds. I first defended. Robbo and Sam first attacked. We were hitting people with the nature dude, hitting them with the birds and the bugs. And every single fucking time they took the birds. And then we would go from there. So it was pretty funny. That was it. That was the event. It was 5 rounds. It was fun. I flew back yesterday. I sound like death because I am exhausted and jet lagged and lost my voice in the last round.
How were your 5 games, Anthony? How was getting you played World Eaters?
I played World Eaters. I just totally glossed that because it's pretty automatic at this point.
Sure.
Yeah, I played World Eaters for the event. I played a 20 brick, a 10 with Karn, Angron, 1 unit of Exalted with a Slaughterbound with the Glaive, 1 unit of regular 8-bound, 3 units of Spawn, a unit of Goremongers, and a Jackal unit. The everything did what it was supposed to pretty much, except Spawn remain armless failures that are not good at killing the anything. Can't trust them to do shit. Sometimes they kill a castigator. That didn't happen this event. I had to use Angron for that, who then promptly died to Volgons instantly right away.
Yeah.
So outside of the game where he died to the Volgons, Angron took a total of, I think, 8 damage from the other 4 games. But that's mostly because my game 5 was complete nonsense. We finished the game with all 30 Terminators and all of my Berserkers and Angron alive. Nonsense game.
You guys just stare at each other on layer 8 for the entire time?
Correct, yeah. Pina kept me to my lowest score of the weekend at a 15 because he just stayed in his deployment zone and was like, fuck you. And I was like, I can't cross the threshold on 8. I need you to step onto the objectives for me to hit you. If you just stay back there on take and hold,
do that. Like that's fine. But...
If you stay back there on take and hold, you're gonna get more points than everybody else. So, honest to God, I was pretty impressed. Like I was like, I didn't expect that at all. And we got like into turn 2, and he was like, this is gonna work. I'm gonna get a 5, and I was like, I don't see any way to change this. So,
God damn.
You guys did game win tiebreakers, right? Was the tiebreaker?
That was the other thing that was bad. So, it's just like a misunderstanding of why you would play a team format, I think.
Sure.
Because like match wins was the first one. Makes sense. The people with the most round wins should win. But then the next tiebreak was game wins. I feel like we're missing the point a little bit. Like the whole point of the teams thing is that you can have a bunch of draws or like some wins and some losses, but you mitigate it by getting bigger wins in other places. And then the third tiebreak was diff. And ultimately in the end, that like the game wins thing didn't matter so much because us and the other Art of War team tied. But we did lose to them on diff. So it didn't end up mattering, but the fact that it could have was kind of wonky, and that's just like broadly not a great way to do tie breaks and something I would hope they would change in the future.
I feel like if you run a 53 team tournament, you just make it 6 rounds, right?
No, because if they made me do a second 3-round day, I would have left. And like I was playing 5 rounds either way with that setup. So if there was a 6th round after that, that's up to you.
That's between that's between them and God.
Yeah, exactly. I said that to Pina a bunch in the last game. I was like, yo, whatever you do with this information is between you and Zinch. But yeah, like I don't like the 3 rounds in a day thing was also brutal. It really should have just started on the Friday.
Yeah, also fair.
Like just start on the Friday, been 2-2-2 and called it a day. I think that's the optimal way to run an event.
It is disappointing to like not get to play the other team that finished first, right?
Yeah, I mean, like because I was so exhausted by the end because of the one day being so long, I was kind of just like, we did it, yay, undefeated. Good job on you being undefeated, other Art of War team. High five, go get them, boys. But yeah, it was good. I mean, like I don't frequently get to be out and about in the world of like, American tournaments these days really anymore. Someone at the event asked me when my next like American event I was playing in was, and I was like, this one next year? I have no idea. So yeah.
Yeah, because you're not playing in BFS now, are you?
I'm not playing in BFS, and it's took my BFS spot like a tyrant. And yeah, it was fine. Not like outwardly impressive. But the weekend itself was really good. Again, I can't stress enough that like Ben's ability to host made the weekend incredible.
My laser destroyers got involved 10 out of 10 times against CK at LVTT, but I got the last pepperoni pizza at lunch, so suck it, Dice Gods.
That's right.
Smash.
Oh!
Thank you for the $10.
Obvious highlight of my trip is I met Poop Smash.
Do swear. Do tell.
That's it. That's all you get to know.
Fantastic.
They came up and were like, on the low, I'm Poop Smash. And I was like, I was freaking out. He ran away.
I'm choosing to believe that it was Isaac the whole time.
It could have been anyone, honestly. If he was lying, that's much funnier.
It's much funnier to have to deal with an Alfarius situation where there are many Poop Smashes.
If once an event someone came up to me and was like, I'm Poop Smash, that would be hilarious. That would be my new favorite bit.
Any 2 white people anywhere could be the Chainsmokers. Any Warhammer player could be Poop Smash.
It could be any of us.
I prefer to think of it as an Alfaria situation. I won't lie.
Yeah.
That makes
Nas, why do you have to say it like that?
Just for the record, Nassim came in and said, "Hi, darlings," and then Innes is soon gonna be in touching distance. Just so people understand.
You don't have to say it like that, buddy.
He does.
Yeah.
I know Nas does.
All right, Innes. We've heard about Anthony's trials and tribulations in the Las Vegas. Tell us about your trials and tribulations in the
You know how
knots.
UKTC has this like big ruin that's like 8 inches by 8 inches wide,
Mhm.
and then they don't play inch from the wall block. So I, for 7 games in a row, put 6 Guard, Gulliman, Calgar, 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, and a squad of Intercessors in that building, or a squad of Scouts in that building, and then said, I'm coming out next turn. You can't interact with this. I'm on the objectives with a lone up lieutenant and a Gravis captain. And then mostly 7 people just like didn't stop that. And that's broadly been my experience. Blades of Ultramar is really funny. Storm of Fire Repexes are just a drug. The number of people who were just like, you're still shooting about 30 seconds into me developing early onset RSI.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's with the thing having fewer guns than previously.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's
I
with the
actually didn't own
streamlined
one.
data sheet.
I didn't own one until this edition. I never played one when it had like the Icarus rocket pod, the Frag Storm, I've only played this version
On
of it,
and on and on and on.
and it was still absolutely hilarious. Played 7 really awesome games. My game against Andy Quascoan in the semifinals was definitely a highlight. I went second in Terraform and had my dice abandon me and managed to scrape a 1-point win with bottom of turn scoring, including a Repex. I'm gonna say one-shotting the Silent King, which is almost what happened. My Gravis Captain's grenades did 3 damage, and then I left the King on 1 with the Repex.
That's
But I'm
rough, dude.
close enough to calling that one-shotting the Silent King that I'm calling it one-shotting the Silent King.
That's yucky, bro.
The
That
dumbass
sucks.
the dumbass was at 16 and failed both saves with a CP reroll against the big gun.
Pow, pow.
All the little guns killed them in ears, and then the Redemptor's Gatling cannon did the last wound.
Rough.
To win that game. This was after the 2 Repexes for 2 turns failed to kill a Doomsday Arc with Oath, but let's not worry about that.
It's fine.
Repexes giveth and taketh away.
They sure do.
And then Gulliman failed 4 out of 4 invulnerable saves, died to a Doomsday Arc, got charged by Scorpec, stood back up, got charged by Scorpec Lord, and died, failing 3 out of 3 invulnerable saves. Just normal Gulliman stuff. Then I failed a Battleshock test of the Psychomancer while in Gulliman's reroll aura on Calgar's Victrix Brick, while in my opponent's deployment zone. That was pretty rough. But it was okay. We got there. And then I played my Team Scotland teammate and one of my best friends on the planet, Chris Irvine, in the final, playing the Rage Curse list that I won the event in New Jersey with, which was also very funny. That game is on UKTC TV. If you want to watch the stream game of that, it is a masterclass in why Inch from the Wall is a bullshit rule. Is probably the easiest way to describe it. Because first of all, I put my squad of Intercessors on the 2nd floor of the UKTC ruin so that he couldn't stand on it and punch down at me, which isn't a thing I should have to care about, but no, I got to.
Could he not just charge into the wall then and punch up at them? I guess he's just killing Intercessors.
Yeah,
then.
he's killing. He's welcome to use his Death Company to kill the Intercessors, right? Like, that's fine. Yeah, I also got to play another amazing game against Chris Langton, one of the guys I've played. I'd never heard his name before I played him at LGT when he 20-0'd Olivier. And then I've played him 3 times in like 4 events that I've been at with him since then. He's fantastic. Nice. He's a great player. One of the Mind Goblins guys, and I'm truly rooting for him to make Team England this year. He charged 6-inch charged Be'lakor into my Repex on my home objective, and I went -1 to wound, and he failed to wound 6 times, of which 3 were 3s, and then my Repex fell back and 1-tapped him. Repexes into demons are a war crime. Then the second Repex that was lined up to shoot Be'lakor just shot 11 damage on a Lord of Change instead, because, well, it might as well. That one wasn't even oath. I just did that. One of my games against Matt Langton, I played both Langton brothers this tournament, which was quite fun. They're twins, so it was very confusing. I'd see them walking around, I'd be like, oh no, different one. And on my go turn, He had like lined us got a gargoyles across the middle, so I walked up directly like an inch away from it with Calgar squad, shot it to death, and then banged a 12 into his Swarm Lord.
Okay.
Yeah. It was an 8-inch charge, but I hit the 12, so I also tagged 2 Tyrannofexes in the Zone Throat Brick and Sub Assault, which I would generally call not good for the home team.
Yeah, that seems bad for all of the bugs ever that existed.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Yeah. At one point, I overwatched 11 of Gazgul's bodies to death on the War turn when he ran at my Repex. Yeah, I hit 6 times with a Heavy Bolter.
Damn it.
Killed 5 Orc boys.
Unkind.
It's one of those ones you just look at, you're like, this is bad. This should not happen. Every time I overwatch with a Repex that wasn't auto momented, I would successfully do literally fuck all. And every other time, I felt like I was one-shotting units. So that's advice for anyone who's going to try and copy the list. Just don't overwatch. Just don't do it. If you're not oath, it's not worth it. You're gonna miss with all your shots. You're gonna hit with like 3 stubber shots. Be really disappointed.
Even with oath, sometimes like the Repex Overwatch feels like fucking trolling. Whenever I would Overwatch with them in BT, I was just fucking furious afterwards. I was like, why did I spend this?
You were Overwatching with the BT one for the 4 shots, and then anything else was bonus.
Yeah, but like, you know.
Yeah, it's like also you're playing Gladius. You have better stratagems, right?
Yeah, I could have been doing anything else with those command points.
Yeah, game 1 I played against Grizzled with double Vanquisher, and the Vanquishers were like losing shootouts with scout squads, is how it felt. Game 2 I played against a lovely Dark Angels player who was, I think, one of his first few tournaments. He was 14 there with his parents. I don't want to embarrass him, but we played a fun game. He was, I think, the only person that killed Gulliman in the Swiss. So, we take that.
Nice.
Killed him twice.
Good job, young gun.
Yeah, Andy killed him in the top cut game. Yeah, game 3 was the Tyranid game. Game 4 was Orcs. Game 5 was the Demons. Game 6 was Andy, and Game 7 was the finals on string. So yeah, that was Nottingham. I'm not going to do a recap on it because it was 4-win Victrix Guard, and no one on the planet wants to hear about 4-win Victrix Guard right now. There are better ways to use your time. All I'll say is my list is better now because I get Wardens, and Wardens are better than 4-win Victrix Guard.
Somehow with each release, I'm like, damn, could we? The last one was okay. Actually, like, I would take Eldar back right now so fast. Is all I'm saying.
RCO is not bait. Nindo.
RCO is good. It is never going to see a table in teams unless this 2 Marine vote passes.
If that 2 Marine vote passes, I might go play Sigmar.
That's allowed.
That is an option you are given.
Like, I don't know if I want to play in a world where 25% of my games at every WTC event are against Marines.
Look, instead of 6 potential games on the field being fun, you could have 0. That is an option you could elect into.
Exactly. But at least I would know that all of them weren't going to be fun beforehand instead of being like, there's a chance.
This is some shit Brian would do, dude. I'll take 100% consistent chance at suffering rather than a fucking 70% shot at joy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be living in Brian's house. I got to take up his attitude.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, so to speak freely, I'm probably going to do some bonus content this week for where Ultramarines go from here as like a backstage thing for the members. But to talk about what directions I think Ultramarines take from here, because I think it's kind of interesting for people who want to hear about that, but for no one else. But broadly, the way that you're playing, especially in the six Victrix list that I was playing, so like the archetype based on Conan Jennings' list from 2 weekends ago now, the idea with the Calgar brick that I've found is that you don't really play it as like a push piece early. You're not really trying to stat check people with it, and it's basically almost never taking damage unless your opponent's like all-inning you, and when they're all-inning you, you're trying to set it up in such a way that they're probably not going to damage you. They're going to like hand you a bunch of like 2 and 3 up saves, and it's either going to be a bunch of damage 1 or a bunch of damage 2. Like, I got charged by an Orc Boy squad, and I think I lost a Victrix Guard, and if I had lost 2 instead, it wouldn't have changed anything, right? Because they're just not getting to the save step, right? I'm getting hit, they're not doing that many wounds, and I'm not failing that many saves. So failing a little bit more saves is fine, right? Like, okay, maybe I lose 2 instead of 1, or maybe I lose 3 instead of 2, but Calgar is still going to be there with his, at least 4 buddies. That's going to kill the unit that charged him most of the time. And then once you get into turn 3, 4, and 5, they're just the inevitability piece, right? They're the thing that your opponents run out of damage. They've just had to kill, Guilliman twice and 2 Repexes and 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts if you push them at them, and you've been interacting with them while they're doing that. Like, the unit's not taking damage. The unit's going to be 7 models strong, flipping your opponent's home objective or side objective. That doesn't matter whether it's got 2 or 3, whether it's got 3 or 4 wounds.
Yep.
And now you could redeploy them.
I think it matters almost not none, but
there are
very
certainly
little.
some matchups where specifically and exactly mass damage 3 good AP things have a genuine weighted turn out of them. I definitely think that they are more answerable. If you fuck up with them, they will die much faster. But if you don't fuck up with them, they're going to be just as suppressive as they always were. And I think that
cheaper
is probably, I don't want to say fine, because I don't think they're too good, but it is a more approachable place where you just, like, the average person face rolling with Vitrix will just lose games much easier now.
They just shouldn't have gone down in cost. I think that's where I land on them. Like,
I also think that my list is completely happy floating 20 points in the updated version, but
sure. I mean, that, but make them do it.
Both things can be true, right?
Yeah. You could just make them do it. You could just make them float the 20,
Exactly. Yeah, like, oh no, my Redemptors turn into Vindicators.
Oh no, the worst.
Look, I would prefer that.
I know you would.
Right. Well, now I don't give a fuck at all what your no invuln ass is playing, but for other mortal men, maybe.
Entirely fair. All right. Shall we talk about the new Necron detachments? Because they weren't out last week when we did our show.
Sure.
Were they not? I thought we went through them.
I think we did.
We did. We went through every detachment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was it the new Space Marine ones that weren't out last week?
Those don't matter.
Ones were out, and
I like Bastion Task Force, and I will not be silenced on this one.
I played into a Deathwatch player playing the Battle Line one, and it was quite good with that specifically.
I play tested one really, really tired game with it with Black Templars yesterday, and I quite liked it too.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Let's talk about Bastion Task Force, and I'll pull up the article.
All right. All of your infantry, all of your battle lines in all 3 doctrines all the time. So that's advance and shoot, fall back and shoot, advance and charge, fall back and charge. It also gets advance and action, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it does.
For just no reason. And then as the third detachment rule, it also has, after a battle line unit shoots something, the rest of your army, or your army gets reroll 1 to hit against it for the rest of the turn. Because just all the doctrines all the time wasn't enough. Notably, I really like that for Black Templars, because Black Templars don't have Oath of Moment, and it's quite good to have reroll 1s on your army that doesn't have Oath of Moment.
Yep.
Strats are pretty decent. There's 1 CP, battle line, or against an Auspex scan target. That's the thing you shot with battle line. Gets lethal or sustained. That's shooting and combat. There is after you make something Auspex scanned, make it -1 to hit. There's after you make something Auspex scanned, make it -2 to move and charge. There is -1 to wound for battle line units, shooting and fight phase, last the phase. It's strength greater than toughness. They have advance and charge, fall back and charge, advance and shoot, fall back and shoot for non-battle line units, but they can only target Auspex scanned things. And they have reroll 1s to hit, reroll 1s to wound if the target is Auspex scanned or the user is battle lined.
Then pretty decent. And you've got an enhancement to give a unit battle line.
Enhancement for battle line, enhancement for +1 AP for the bearer and battle line models in the bearer's unit. You have 4-up CP regeneration, 3-up if the target of the stratagem is battle line, and then you have precision for the bearer and their battle line's ranged weapons, which is kind of trolling and hilarious. I randomly have that on my Emperor's Champion in that build because I have 10 points. So sometimes that, I'm going to try it with that hand flavor. Fuck you, ACDC.
I mean, it is funny. The whole thing seems to work really well with Deathwatch and Black Templars specifically. Deathwatch because they have all those battle line units anyways that are mixed, like weaponry units, and you can just attach somebody.
It's actually only the kill team, like the baseline ones. You just end up even to like an Indomitor kill team with
yeah, it's the one kill
enhancement.
Team. Yeah, they are T6, and then you can do something else with them because they've got the one Gravis dude in them.
No, the Indomitor kill team is just all Gravis now, right? It's just the big one.
I meant the Decimus one.
Oh, sure, the like random,
the battle line one. which is annoying.
But they use Deathwatch Kill Team specifically use majority toughness. They have a separate rule for themselves. They don't
That's
use
true,
highest
yeah.
toughness, so you don't actually get the toughness 6.
That's what I've heard in that game.
Yeah,
That's why
it's
I
kind
shouldn't
of
play
interesting
into
for
the
like the Deathwatch veterans with a Judicar can get advance and charge and things like that, which is kind of nice.
Mhm.
I do think losing out on all of the like double stratagems that Deathwatch have is kind of a waste, but it's kind
Yeah.
of interesting. I like different
It's-
BT. I like the like 20 mana of Black Templars guys is quite good at killing like anything. So being able to have them be really fast and also reroll ones is quite nice. So I'm experimenting with that a little bit and having a good time with it, and I'm gonna keep playing about with it.
Nice.
But yeah, overall, I think the other two are kind of underwhelming. Reclamation like is a cool -1 to wound, but it doesn't really do a ton. I saw some interesting stuff about doing like 18 Vitrix plus 6 Plague Guard list, which is kind of fun with like deep striking and redeploying and all that kind of stuff. And Orbital is completely a meme.
Yeah, Orbital's just a meme, which is fine.
So we've also had a week with new Necrons. How are we feeling about them now that we've seen some of them on the table?
Bad.
Goodness gracious.
I've run the math on it a lot, and I've played it a couple times because I've been thinking about running different CSM stuff into it. And even in best case scenarios in like Pact Bound, where you have reroll hits and you have all the stuff going, and you're like really cranking it with 3 Vindicators, you kill 165% of the time or something like that. And I'm just like, that's not good enough.
So there's this quote from a boxer who is, to my recollection, not very good now, but used to be very scary. His name was Deontay Wilder. And his whole thing was that his opponents had to be perfect for all 12 or 15 rounds or whatever a boxing match is. He had to be perfect for one punch. And the thing with killing a Satan is if at any point you hit too poorly, wound too poorly, they spike saves, they spike feel no pains, you are both not killing them and dead. And your recourse for that is that they heal to full afterwards as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like playing against like 2 to 5 Virulent Victoria Mortarians.
Yeah. And that also fucking
But
slam
faster and have better guns
and
Yep.
hit harder in melee.
Mhm.
to some degree.
None of them sweep as well.
Yeah.
All
Specifically,
of
the
them
sweep
strike better.
fucked up, but yes, they do all strike better.
And at least one of them picks up any character on like 6 wounds or less without a feel no pain just by looking in the general direction of that unit.
Yep.
Is it this one? Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's that.
That
God,
tiny
that
one.
thing's tiny. I have not seen one of those in real life.
Did
Holy
They're
you
real
ever
moly.
did
small.
you fuck up your screening at any point ever? This Imperial Knight profile is in your deployment zone.
Yeah. And he
Do you want a comparison point, Anthony? Here you go.
that is a dreadnought.
Yeah.
That tiny little man kills that dreadnought.
That tiny little man and that dreadnought don't even have a close fight.
True. Yeah. Oh, hey, that's another tiny little man in Kanikvar now, right?
He's on a bigger base.
Yeah. I don't know what to do. I don't know
compare it to
why.
Angron as well if you want to be really sad.
Nope.
No,
He might be smaller than the Vitrix card with a banner.
he probably
he
is.
He's shorter than an armature.
So that thing has a Vect and a good gun and melees and is pretty
And
quick.
stealth.
And stealth. And more OC than the other ones.
No, he's only 4 now. That went away.
Oh,
the
that's
only
good.
thing they got rid of.
Yeah, I don't they've made some mistakes is how I'll phrase this.
Yep.
I've played with Pantheon twice. I am currently 40-0.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a little shorter than the banner. Cute.
That's cool. Yeah. This is probably the most disappointed I've been in the balance team since
Dev wounds?
Tau Stodudes.
Oh,
Yeah, that
nice.
sounds
Sure.
right.
Wow.
I guess I can forgive the start of the edition because them just being like, oh, we didn't think of that. Fuck.
They just clearly had no fucking clue what they were doing. I'll let that slide for like a little bit. It was stupid that we played a WTC on it, but whatever. This release is literally just all problems we've had 17 times before. There's no excuse for this stuff to release the way that it has. That's it. I'm gonna play parts of it because I care about winning. And that's all I got. It's bad for the game. It's bad that it exists. The way it's set up is stupid and it's undercosted.
It's bad for our mental health.
Yeah. They could have just done basically anything else and it would have been better, and they didn't. They did this. So now we're here.
The hardest part for me.
No idea
go
how
ahead.
to get this.
Finish your thought, Anthony.
I was just gonna say where, you know, we've stepped past the part of like me being willing to be like, well, you know, but it could change this way and get better. I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna play Necrons and choke people to death until I need something else to do. If Eaters are gonna exist in the way that they exist, and Angron has to be how Angron is, while the Nightbringer runs around like whatever the fuck that is. Okay, bro, I'll just play the new thing. You win.
Yeah. I think the hardest part for me is that somebody was like, -1 to wound is such a drastic downgrade from half damage, or -1 damage is such a drastic downgrade from half damage, when it's not. If you run the math, they're basically identical until you hit like las cannons, and then it goes from like 24 to 30 or something like that at the new profile. And unfortunately, it's like not enough to warrant such a tiny points increase, along with
well, the real thing is that because of how damage works in the game, because of how they've chosen to structure the damage characteristic of weapons, the change doesn't matter. It'd be very different if, you know, if Angron, if Fulgrim, if on and on and on were flat damages, right? If Fulgrim was 5 damage on his strike, sure, you can make a reasonable argument, or, you know, anything, right? There's a million examples of this.
The things that we were expected to want to kill Catan with were good at that. Then we were doing that. But like the best answer for Catan was always mass damage 1.
Right.
And I think it still is, because it's the only one that's reasonably immune to the variance of them. Yeah. They just have 25% more wounds against that now, or 33% more wounds against that now.
Yeah.
And it's hard because the weapons that are supposed to be good into them, like theoretically, right? Like a bunch of melta weapons and stuff like that, and things like that, just don't carry it over. If you look at fire dragons now, they barely do it with 2 CP to support you and Fuegan, right?
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of things that are just like, if you've created something that is the same durability for a modest points increase, but with more wounds, more movement, and more flexibility via deep strike, you've made a mistake. And that's okay. We make mistakes, right? Everybody makes mistakes. This is just a giant one that they've done before with Necrons during Christmas.
Yeah. This is just a very obvious mistake. It feels like just no one read what they were doing. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating from like the, you know, I don't want to come off as just like complaining for the sake of, like, I just care a lot, right? And we're in the season that we use typically to select players for our WTC cycle and stuff like that. It's really hard to like the game right now. And for people like myself, like Innes, where most of our like life stuff that isn't like, for me, that isn't my day job, for Innes, including his day job, is 40K related. Our social circles, to some level, our, you know, income flows and stuff like that are tied to the game. When the game is like this, it fucking sucks.
I want people to care about the game, so they want to go into tournaments and have them be bigger, and, you know, support people wanting to attend events, so that tournament organizers have a reason to improve things, and
right,
you know, also so that I can get more money from coaching and all this kind of stuff, right? It all flows from the game being a good spot that people want to play, and when the game is balanced, is out of whack, people don't want to do that, right? I've often, you know, I've said this is a few years now, like one of the biggest indicators I use for like how healthy is the game right now is how busy am I the week before we're expecting a balanced data slate. If I'm like still taking calls on like the Friday, Monday, Tuesday before we're doing a data slate on like a Wednesday, Thursday, I'm like, all right, cool, the game's in a pretty good spot. If I'm like, oh man, I can't fill my time and I'll be really busy on Wednesday, but like, what the fuck am I doing Monday, Tuesday? Then the game's usually in a completely whack spot. And it's been really nice for the last year or so that I don't notice that significant downturn. But if we keep having balance patches like this, we will have that. And I don't like that for, selfish reasons as well as altruistic ones.
Right.
Yeah. And
yeah, but Drew, have you considered that they are significantly more expensive than wardens per wound?
Yeah, I mean, all of these things are bad, right? Like,
a lot of people keep telling me that like things like that, and I'm like, but those aren't the same thing. Like, you can't be like, yeah, if I staple 16 warp spiders together, that's the same as one Catan, and that's just like not really true. Like, let's not do that. That's not a thing we should do. Let's not do these kind of comparisons. It's terrible and bad. And
no, let's just
I don't know.
Build our deceivers and play them at tournaments and go and win the ITC with them.
Yeah, I mean, a number of my locals who, oh man, so many people play Necrons in my local. There's like 4 Necron players who are in my local Discord where we reschedule stuff. And 2 of them are like, what if I just brought 6 Catan? And I was like, I'm going to be real sad the whole time is what I'm going to be. Maybe I win by like killing your mission shit, but probably not.
I mean, 6 is too many, but yeah, like
it is too many.
Even just 1. That's the problem with these, right? It's like they're not just an issue because you can spam them. Individually, they are too powerful.
Correct.
Like, it's not like a sum of a parts situation. You could play this in fucking 4 detachments. Like, they just fucked up.
Yep.
That's all there is to it.
I think the one that bugs me the most is the Deceiver specifically because he's on a 40mm base.
Sure. He's frustrating as well.
I hate the fact that he's just like, also you can't get models in engagement range of me.
Yeah.
And I just, at least if
melee armies just can't fight these things. And again, sure. I don't know. It's a combination of frustrations for me. Like, the state world eaters are in right now. This release, like, I'm done forcing shit. Yeah. I'm just not going to do it anymore.
I mean, I've definitely just thought of, instead of painting all this CSM stuff, painting some Catan, because it would take me like 30 minutes to get a
I'm
6
pretty
model
sure that I
army
could paint this guy with a dry brush in 3 colors, and he'd look pretty fucking good. Because
yeah, and like that's a little disappointing, and it's not even like scratching the surface of the fact that Amintar apparently has a 5-up regular feel no pain.
No, that went away.
Have that. That got
away.
Removed today.
Yeah, okay, they did fix it today. Good, because I was like, the man does not need any more keywords.
Yeah, no, they fucked up with that guy too, but that's a different type of fucked up. They could just pull fights first off that guy. That guy could not fights first and could cost the same.
Yeah. He honestly just doesn't need fights first because it's okay. As I was explaining to a local, I was like, it's okay that you don't have the perfect heroic counter model. Like, you just don't need that. It's not a thing that Necrons need. You got a bunch of other stuff that you don't need.
Well, just like proactive survivability for Necrons is not supposed to be their thing, right? They're supposed
to reactive survivability.
Reanimate.
And I was like, it feels like bad design when an army that has like a kind of a clear weakness gets a model that just kind of fills that little gap, and it's like, oh, perfect.
Like
what about this?
Yeah, or like thing with Vidrix,
or right? Wardens as well, right?
That's telling you, dude,
probably okay that the best thing Calgar joined was company heroes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be super fucked up when World Eaters get jetpack models with Bale Flamers. It's coming soon to a TV near you.
And like, I feel like people have gotten too much into the idea that, oh, my army can't have any weaknesses. I should just be able to fill all the gaps in it. And it's like, it's okay if your army has a bad matchup. Like,
that's meant to be the whole point of 40K is the asymmetric balance. It's supposed to
Otherwise, you should just play Heresy, right? Where we're all wearing power armor and all doing the same thing into each other with just like slightly different colorful models, and that's it.
Yeah,
you just all play power armor into one another instead. I don't know.
That's a tough time.
Yeah, it's hard because it is a little depressing, and it's like it feels like we've trod the road several times before, right?
Again,
it's literally the Knight's problem, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the problem is that we literally just did this. We literally just did it in the summer. Like we just had the like too cheap durability stand in front of you feels bad man meta.
Yeah.
How that happened and then people were like, let's make more of that is beyond me.
Right. Exactly. And honestly,
And
it just feels easy to fix. And this is the
maybe
biggest problem.
maybe this is a number goes up and to the right problem, right? You know, attribute not to malice what you can attribute to capitalism. But maybe that's what's happening.
They sold out of those models anyway.
Yeah,
I truly just can't fathom it being that because of how often the new thing is dog shit.
I agree. But that's all we got left. Everything else is just assuming that a lot of people are real dumb, and I'm trying to avoid that.
It's fair. I mean, it is honestly like the biggest thing that you realize is that no matter what level of expertise somebody is at, no matter where somebody works at in a company, like I've seen PhDs who have 20 years of experience forget to load necessary reagents into things that they've done hundreds of times. So like, it's very easy to make a mistake is the thing. It's now on GW, I feel like, to respond to said mistake, right? And like, that's the only thing we can hope for is that GW responds to it and maybe doesn't do this again as badly again.
Yeah, I mean, my real hope is that, like, and this is like a forlorn hope, is that we do get an out of sequence update for this. Like, this is an obvious error. This should not be the way that this is.
I think we should be doing like every new release gets a balance patch a month after it comes out. Just
Sure.
every single one.
Yeah.
I do
If they
wish
could commit to doing that, and then we could play like no patch, no play, because we know it's coming. That would solve like most of the release problems.
Biggest issue with that is basically the then getting data is pretty challenging, right? If you're
They don't use the fucking data anyway. Everything that comes out, they're like, we don't have the data. It doesn't even matter. Who cares?
Yeah, also fair.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. Hopefully we get something similar to what we got with Star Shatter, where we get a relatively quick response, or like what happened with the Orc Detachment Mordaka. And
anyway, let's give the Avatar a 5 of Film of Pain so he feels playable.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do it this way, let's at least let's take off the kiddie belts, right? Let's give everybody let's give fucking Anger on a 5 of Film of Pain.
Let's give the Avatar immunity to like Melta again and immunity to all those heat-based weapons.
Again, if they wanted to lean into the like everyone's powerful, no one's too powerful now, sure. But that's not what they're doing.
No.
So cut it out.
Yeah. Either balance it in a way that's like the way it kind of was right before like 4 Wound Victrix, or like just make everybody hopped up and like running on 11s.
Right before the Knights change, we were so close to a pretty good game. And it's just gotten farther and farther and farther away from things being
So it's
enjoyable.
all Death Guard's fault.
Death Guard and Knights, I guess. Even released Death Guard was like fucked up, but it wasn't, I don't know.
It had been fucked up, but it was more fucked up because we also had to do with Knights at the same time.
Yeah, I don't even think like, I'm gonna be honest, like Death Guard was too strong, but I don't think it was like that bad. Everything else that has come out after Death Guard has felt much worse.
Yeah, I think let's get it as a fair point, right? Like Victories of Guard have had 2 nerfs in 6 weeks of release. They seem to be at least be aware, right? Like, Now, did both of those nerfs also have compensation buffs? Yes.
That made them better in most of the time. I would argue that the current Victrix datasheet is net basically the fucking same to the release one.
The release one was 10 points cheaper and had an extra wound per model. I don't think that's true, but
it's slightly worse.
That I'm fine with saying, yes.
Yeah.
I think the first change was net, like fucking didn't matter. But yeah.
The first one didn't matter at all. But
all right.
I do think we'll get a change. If it's
just
as
do
bad
something.
as we think it is, we'll see it. And then we just have to hope that it happens. And that's all that we can do.
Yep.
I bought a Deceiver so they get nerfed. That was my plan.
Smart.
All right. Let's do some questions. Let me do the plugs
All right.
and then let's do some questions.
I'm going to pull up questions.
I'm going to pull up the plugs. All right,
I'm gonna
everybody. We
rub
are
Pickles'
just under an hour into the show. If you're enjoying so far, or just over an hour into the show, fantastic. If you've been enjoying the show so far and you want to hear more from us, you can check us out all the usual places. That's youtube.com/statcheck and stat-check.com. You can find the metadata dashboard. You can find our coaching services. You can find a bunch of old articles that don't really do anymore, and all that kind of stuff on the website. You can also find links to all of our sponsors. That's Red Dragon, Will and Yutani, J15 Games, and Solder Games. You can find all of them in the description, along with links to what they do, discount codes for a bunch of them, including Red Dragon if you're a Patreon member. If you'd like to support us a little bit more and you're in a position to do that, you can check out YouTube membership. That gets you access to our Discord and also a bunch of bonus content coming up behind the show. We're aiming to do a show or an extra 30 minutes to an hour of content every 2 weeks going up on there, in addition to whatever goes up on the main channel. So if you'd like to get access to that, you can check out YouTube memberships or patreon.com/statcheck. Yeah, there's other shows on the network. We're live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK time. We're here talking about all things Warhammer, stats, everything that you've heard today, commentary on the current metagame, events we've been at, and all of the usual stuff. If you want to work with any of our coaches, that's at stat-check.com/coaching, or drop us an email at coaching@stat-check.com. Did anybody do any extra stuff this week that we should shout out? I was on the UKC TV live stream for the finals of the Nottingham Super Major. I don't know. Was LVTT? LVTT wasn't streamed, was it, Anthony?
It was not streamed, which was a genuine joy.
Medicaid's Orders will have its episode this Thursday if people want to watch. So
Sure. And at some point, we'll bully the End of the Matrix guys into doing another episode this month. So
one day they'll catch up to us in episode count.
I significantly doubt that, unless we all fall off bridges. At which point, I think that just no one will push them to make episodes. So
True.
Pickles will do it.
Yeah, Pickles will make regular content. All right.
We're going to go on to the show questions. If you'd like to get your question asked and answered on the show, you can check out all those things we mentioned before. Being a member of our Discord is the easy way to do it. The other ways to do it are to just ask a really good question that we like, or to leave a super chat on the YouTube live stream. Nathan, take us away.
Just going to thank to a super chat and a new member. Thanks, Martine, for the €2 super chat. And thanks for convincing me to run your RCO list, Innes.
Let's go. That's so cool.
And then thank you to Munator for becoming a YouTube member.
But
I don't know, man. There's an 8 in there. That's what I'm calling it.
Sure.
I'm old. I can do what I want. All right. Questions. Sean has the first questions, which the first one is, would limiting datasheets to lower quantities than 3 be a worthwhile balance lever? Anthony has mentioned turning Victrix into epic heroes, but I know games like Yu-Gi-Oh! Use limits on cards as a balance tool. Would it be something you'd trust GW to figure out how to use appropriately?
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
We could...
It's a lever they don't pull, and they could pull.
Yeah. We could go back to doing some more 0 to 1, 0 to 2 stuff.
Maybe Dark Communes could be 0 to 1 or 0 to 2. And then it'd be all right. ACDC wouldn't need to be run through every check and balance.
That would need to be 8 billion points every time.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah.
And then the second question is somewhat similar. It's how long until the current different war gear equals different datasheet paradigm finally results in some form of verbiage that says all units with X in the name count as the same unit for the purposes of rule of 3.
That would be
that's interesting.
Aggressively counterintuitive. But I fucking suppose. Does that happen? Do people use a lot of the Radium Giselle Dragoons that I don't know about?
You're basically making that change to say fuck exactly and only GSC and Tau.
Well, we didn't include battle line units, I suppose. Right?
It would depend how you capped it, right? Like if you said you could only include 6 units of crisis suits, would anyone really cry?
I don't. Whatever. Just make them all the same fucking datasheet again, Games Workshop. God damn it.
Maybe attach the special rules to weapons.
To weapons. Yeah, fucking.
Playing against 7 units of crisis suits was not the most fun experience at LGT.
Yeah?
Yeah, I believe it. All right. Chris has the next question, which is, I have a GT coming up, and the terrain is pretty wild. You have no idea what you will be playing on. It's 30% GW, 30% WTC, 30% UKTC, and then some custom stuff sprinkled in. Every table will be different. I was thinking about running Innes's, in parentheses, Anthony's LGT list. Max suppression. Would you make any changes to fit in Wardens? I'm pretty opposed to running Victrix at the moment due to small moral victories.
How would you even change that list to fit Wardens in?
I don't think you do. I think you just play something else.
Yeah, I wouldn't play a Storm Raven on that volatile terrain set. I don't think.
I think that's Gladius time. Blades, probably.
Yeah, I think that's like just show up with your favorite 4 guns and Calgar and unit company heroes.
Yeah.
And Gulliman, and then like a Warden squad and some chaff.
Fair enough. Yates has the next question, which is, what is a facet of lore that you would like to see represented better or at all on the tabletop? Whether it be units, a rule representing lore, or even a whole new army/supplement. It's got to be Dark Mech. We just want Dark Mech, right? That would be great.
Oh, I would love to see the fact that Custodians don't leave Terra be represented again.
They do leave Terra now, though. They changed that whole thing so they could be a 40k faction.
Both of mine are for Angron. If you could have something representing that his charging you is described like a falling star, that'd be cool. Just a little impact mortal action or something, maybe. Little charge phase.
One of his 3 aura abilities is the Brutalis version of Impact Worlds.
Whatever, that would be fine. I would use that a lot, actually.
I know.
I think that could mean every monster should do something like that. Like getting charged by Angron or a Carnifex or something should just hit you.
Tank shot should work for monsters. I think that's my immediate start.
Yeah, that would work. I'm just rereading Echoes, and in that he kills a Titan by charging it. He kills it on the charge. So I don't need him to do all that, but something would be cool.
Now, I know that this is, I think the fact that Ynnari are the only part of Eldar that I enjoy, like, conceptually. And I think it was really stupid that they wrote all this lore for them, having like Lilith and Janezar being part of the Ynnari. And they were just like, by the way, not anymore. So if you had a Ynnari army, they're just like gone now because like they got disillusioned with Yvrain or some shit. I think
not very committed.
Stupid. I think that was
well, they really got the real freaking knife into the heart of Ynnari was when they took one of the swords they needed to collect and put it in the center of Slaaneish's palace, a place that Eldari just can't go.
Yeah, good.
Because
Fuck
they
them.
Instantly die.
Yeah.
They gotta convince Gollum. That's what Yvrain's dating Gollum.
That's the long game. Gilman, you got to go deep into Slaaneish's mind palace and steal his sword for me.
Yeah, that is the longest game, but it is the long game.
All right. Blake has the next question, which is for game pace in matchups where shifting primary through OC or murder isn't plausible. How large of a point deficit are you comfortable with while you strip resources from the opponent? How far down do you get before it's time to all in them and pray? Specifically thinking of raise for this, if that changes the answer at all.
It obviously depends on the mission. Like, how much can you reliably score on 4 and 5? How much are you able to actually cripple their secondary output? And how well are you doing at scoring secondaries yourself? But like, probably not more than like 1 turn of letting them just score while I kill stuff before I'm like, I need to start like making sure I'm getting points.
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing to give my opponent like a 15 if I have to. But then after that, I'm like, I need to start killing things.
All right. Next question is from Alex, which is, what would your 8-man comp on GW layouts be? Bonus points if you can take into account slightly above average player skill.
The 8 things that your players are most comfortable with 1 guy skewing their list to be a first defender and 2 guys skewing the list to attack into other first defenders. Please stop trying to write team comps for things that aren't WTC.
Fair enough. All right.
It's so overrated of how much difference it makes at this level.
Fair enough. Matthew, Paint and Engine aficionado, which I do like. That's a great name. With the changes to Victrix and Shadowmark over the last couple of months, where would you rate Forge Father's Seekers in the hierarchy of Codex Space Marines?
It's like totally fine. Not having the ignore mods from Firestorm is a little sketchy, but it does have some cool gimmicks. Generally, I think it's like about as good as Shadowmark. Like, I think it's like you've got like blades and Gladius are like here, and you've got like a little below that you've got like Stormlance, and then after that you've got like the other detachments, right? You've got like Shadowmark, you've got Forge Fathers, I think Hammer of Averni's in there. I think they're all like reasonably playable in a world where you're like, I don't want to play like the obvious ones, or I don't want to play Ultramarines. They're all just like not as good as Ultramarines. They're just like about as good as Liberator, right?
I'm sorry. My wife was hanging over a chair and was whispering, "I'm hungry," and I ate all of our snacks while staring me in the eyes. And I'm like looking over at her. She's just like hanging over the top of a chair like this, stared at me, going, "I'm hungry."
She's looking at you like the new Necron model, dude. The guy perched over the thing with both his hands on the. She's got fight first, and she's coming for it.
She's just looking.
You do not. She has a 5-up feeling of pain and psychic damage that you're causing her by not having snacks in the house.
Yeah.
No,
she's failing those 5-ups.
She ate them all.
Yeah, but you don't have more, Nathan. That's your fault.
There are more snacks. She just looked at me and was. She found a snack. Look at that. She found bread with butter. She found snacks. She's good.
Perfect. Nailed it.
God damn it. All right, back to what I was. Bonus question, since Anthony mentioned Electric Callboy on the last show, what is his favorite song?
Oh, my fucking boys, dude. It's probably Hypa, but there's an outside shot that I'm forgetting something. Let me just double check. My answers are all going to be like super basic. I'm not like a, way back in the day fan from them. We Got the Moves is great. Their Every Time We Touch cover is incredible. I think Hypa is probably my favorite song of theirs, though.
All right. Next question is from DT Bunnertons. I'm traveling. I'm planning on taking the Kroot hunting pack to a GT next weekend. 5 hulls, a bunch of gorillas, some chicken men. The terrain is GW base layouts. Would love your 2 cents on how you would rock Kroot together strong into the new meta.
You probably do the like 6 big thing tank behind the wall of gorillas, right? That's got to be the most effective thing.
You put the wound count in front of the men, and you roll the dice at them, and then you hope that there's no walls in the way. I really, truly don't think it's that much more nuanced.
Yeah.
Grigori has the next question, which is, how do you use a 20-man Berserker unit, or any 20-man unit for that matter, the most efficiently?
Well, here's the thing. A 20-man Berserker unit is used way differently than most 20-man units. I'm going to let Innes tackle this question, though.
Most of the time when you're using a 20-man anything unit, you're like really stretching the coherency, you're trying to pull shenanigans. And then when you use Khorne Berserkers, it's like, this is a freight train that sometimes has like 4 guys doing a job, right? Because you're like, I want to make sure I can swing tag that thing so that I can like threaten a blood surge into it because it's movement 5, and if I tag it, they can't get away from me, and I don't need these chain swords.
Yep.
So you use the 20-man Khorne Berserker unit as like a freight train with like some optionality, but it's like you can mostly just tag a bunch of stuff and also kill a bunch of stuff, right? But the mostly is the killing stuff, unless the killing stuff is not an option because you're not good at killing stuff. But like, what are you not good at killing except Catan, right? So
they've added some stuff.
There's Catan and things with exactly fight on death plus AOC plus -1 damage, and like there's some stuff, right? But mostly you're using the 20-man Berserker squad to go and like give a whole bunch of stuff in the rest of your army a bunch of space to develop, because you've either killed a bunch of stuff that would be threatening them in their staging positions, or you are blocking them from getting places.
There's one other use case for a 20-man, which is unfucking GW's terribly written combat rules with regards to terrain. Because on
3 inch from a wall, baby,
you can fight within 3, and almost all GW ruins have a top floor that you can punt one nerd up to that'll get you into engagement range, so everybody else can swing.
Yep. Whereas when you're using 20-mans in a lot of other armies, it's a lot about board control, right? You're using them to be like, I can be in range of that guy's aura and that guy's lone up distance and this objective and this board quarter, and I have the ability to be in any of those areas depending on what you're doing, and I can like wiggle real good and reactive move this way and that way, or anything, any combination, right? But the way that you're going to play Termagants versus the way you're going to play 20 orc, and 20 orc boys are going to play a lot more like Khorne Berserkers. You're kind of talking like the Khorne. You've got like the Khorne Berserker Termagant spectrum, right? Like Genestealer cultists are a lot more like Termagants than they are Khorne Berserkers. Orc boys are a lot more like Khorne Berserkers than they are like Termagants, right? There's very, very different ways that you're going to use these units. Necron warriors are like Termagants that sometimes pretend to have a gun. So it really varies.
Fair. All right. The next question is from Isaac, Pot of Greed, which is, anything you think we could have done to try and make round 5 closer at LVTT, Anthony?
I think the pairings went astray. I don't know how you fixed them, but I think in particular, I don't really think so. You guys just didn't have an answer to a melee defender, which like the overwhelming majority of the event did not have an answer to a melee defender. Because, we've all played teams enough to know that like who the fuck defends with melee? So, there was two, like, they had one reasonable answer, right? Like the ultras could attack me, but even that I could play like drawish. Yeah, not to be like, no, it was inevitable that we beat you, but like,
You guys
I think
had like, your club was very shooty heavy with the exception of one list, and none of that really wanted to play on those boards.
Yep. And like our comp was, I think we had a big edge in the comp space over most people attending.
The second question from Isaac is, do I get brownie points for directly making Anthony get second place by getting a win during round 5?
No.
And then last question from Isaac is, anything funny I can bring to my RTT? Was thinking Fulgrim.
Fulgrim is not funny for your opponent, I think, is the biggest problem with that model. Playing against Fulgrim, like in Coterie at least, just like if you're a melee army anyway, it feels like this just like horrible, inevitable death. But he is fucking huge and he's really fast and he's a lot of fun to use. So if you're prioritizing your fun, take Fulgrim. He's actually a pretty good time.
All right. And then the next question is from Pispy, Fulgrim believer, which is Bully Boys Orcs. Don't bother or worth the try?
They seem interesting as like in that kind of like melee defender space, right? But I don't think I've seen them have a lot of success outside of doing exactly that.
Fair. Brian has a question, which is, which new Necron detachment do you think is stronger, Pantheon of Woe or Cursed Legion? It's got to be Cursed Legion is the stronger one, right? It feels
I
more
think
flexible.
Pantheon is more abusive.
Mm-hmm.
Pantheon's a stupid detachment because it's so coin flippy as well, right? And it's just fucking obnoxious. Like if you have a plan into it, it's just like actually. Also, I all exploded. Also, I fall on death. No, your plan didn't work.
Well, also like if you take something that's a good source of the like Catan kill something trigger reanimate strat, bad fucked up shit happens.
Sure.
So write that down. I think Pantheon's better. I could see why people would be really into Cursed Legion, but I don't think Cursed Legion gets past the like Star Shatter bar or the Awakened bar. And if you're trying to like do a fucked up thing, I think Pantheon lets you do a fucked up thing.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm a little worried that like every time I think about playing against like Cursed Legion instead of playing something, I'm like, I can play against that, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
I'm playing like even if there's like a Catan or two in it, I'm like, I can go around those and deal with the other stuff. It might not be easy, but I can formulate a path to victory against that kind of army because it's just doing things fair.
well, it's just doing dude stuff, right? We can all do dude stuff. Dude stuff is stoppable. Big monster you can never kill because it heals 14 times is a different type of problem.
That's fair. All right. Luke 1705 says that they have a question for Pickles.
Okay.
And then just says piss, 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 piss. And then for Anthony, have we considered a Pickles cam?
She moves around a bunch when she's not just like actually asleep. So no.
Frank has the next question, which is, with a potential new Black Tide detachment out with BTF, do you guys think it has legs to be not terrible? Would you run the Repex despite not having Storm/Dev Doctrine? This was kind of answered a little bit earlier, but
I think it has at least 100 legs because you're probably playing 60 Crusaders. So
fair. That's God. That somehow implies that there's fewer than 2 legs on a lot of those, but it's fair.
But that a lot of attrition on a crusade, right?
True. No. Max has the next question, which is, have you guys heard of the next GSE hotness that will convince a mysterious individual to start me at Pyra? I don't know what mysterious abmup individual to start me at Pyra means, unfortunately.
Yeah, that one loses me.
Unironically, does Innis think host WTC like lists can punch through the Katana and Victrix right now? It feels like a good angle of attack.
I think
into
you
the
can
meta.
kill Catan. I'm not sure you kill much else in the meta game.
All right.
Oh, you lost
then,
rerolls. I was like, is that one strat going to 2 CP that much of a damage hit if you're just willing to pay the point cost in the CP, but you can't reroll
It's the everything
anymore?
else, right? Like there's
Yeah.
not just Catan in the list, right? There might be, but and there's also just not just Catan in the meta game. Could you imagine trying to play that army against Rage Curse right now?
I have no idea. Is that bad?
I would just you just get rolled.
Is that bad for the GSA?
You just get rolled, man. I don't know how you stop.
okay.
I don't know how you stop a scouting Death Company squad from just being like, and done.
and then Bearded Horus has the next question, which is, can we get a Gunch word count for the weekend? Is fetch happening?
We said it a lot. It was actually the express instruction I was given by Sam when I had to play against Matt Evans on Assimilation Swarm. He went, just gunch him. And the whole time I was playing, I was saying it.
And I assume Matt was just like not enjoying that, or
Matt got gunched. Matt got gunched in a way that was unfair. I had my one Angron pop off per tournament, which is what I'm legally due after he failed to kill 5 Rangers. He did one bang 6 Tyrant Guard and the Tyrant that was leading them through the feel no pain that the squad gives him. That felt good.
That's Matt's fault for playing a Hive Tyrant with Tyrant Guard.
He's playing Assimilation.
Exactly. Well, that's his fault for playing Assimilation as well. Like
it was kind of cool. Not
hurt people, but
yeah,
not good but cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think it even could have been pretty good. He was just like, he even said it when he was finishing his like turn. He like moved everything up. We're playing on Hammer and Anvil, and he like looks down and he's like, I did this screening a bit too much on vibes, and I was like, yes, you did.
Fair. The usual Canadian has a question, which is, does Saga and the Great Wolf have any legs in the upcoming meta, thinking of 3x5 Wolfguard Terminators and 3x5 Head Takers as the base?
No.
Probably not.
There you go. I mean, that's a lot of damage, too, into a -1 damage model. Grigori has the next question. Anthony, Balance Team calls you and asks you to fix Angron. What do you change to make him good?
There is a lot of things that I would look at changing with him. I think his res should go. So I just spent a bunch of time rereading Echoes, right? And I think if they can capture that version of Angron, since he's only meant to get more powerful than that version, so assumedly we could work with this as a floor, right? What I think would make sense for him, based on the way that they describe him, would be some form of either Feel No Pain while in melee, or some type of like regeneration-based mechanic. But as you could tell from how I talk about Necrons, not a huge fan of those. I think a 5 Feel No Pain in melee against melee attacks specifically would be like the optimal way to represent that rule, and then you just make him a bit more expensive, so because he has a rule that isn't trash. And then the other thing you could do that would probably fix him near immediately, if you do that as well, is give him fucking Twin Linked on his melee weapons. I don't even care if you have to take away Dev to do this. World Eaters are the only army, or one of the only armies, that have a billion instances of dudes holding 2 melee weapons without a firearm, without a gun of any variant, that do not also have Twin Linked.
I was like mildly, having played a bunch of World Eaters, playing against False Blades and getting shot by their bolt pistols, a little upset. I was just like, how dare you?
What the fuck, dude?
How dare you be a possessed variant with a bolt pistol?
Yeah. Not good. So I think that's where I would start. I would like to see a world where, like, you know, his auras do something. As time goes on, the like ignore weapon skill and move and charge mods one is actually becoming like more and more relevant, I found, at least. But I also played 5 games this weekend on layouts where I could start him on the board, so having the blood one also didn't feel that bad. They could also just like make him faster or let him advance and charge, like, I don't know, some Mortarian looking fuck with a scythe, and maybe then you could start him on the board more frequently, which would thus allow you to use his blood dice rerolls a little bit more for improved consistency. There's a lot of ways to make him better, mostly because right now the right side of his datasheet is essentially blank. So the world's your oyster. Fucking go nuts. Do something, please, for the love of God. Just make him better.
Make his data sheet roll the like reroll 6 blood dice thing, and then switch his like that buffalo abilities over to like the 5-up field will pay to melee, maybe like a walk through walls, and then
Sure.
like and then like maybe twin link the melee, right? Like you can pick either do more damage, be more durable, or get there faster.
Sure.
And then give him blood dice rerolls to get consistency in the army or something like that. Just like
Yeah. Just
you can make him so much more interesting without giving him like additional maximum movement speed, which I appreciate can be a little scary on a big model like that.
oh, can it?
Yeah, a little bit.
If only that design philosophy flowed into the other shit they
Applied
made.
to anything, yeah, no, it'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe things that are like maybe things that are like kill God in combat shouldn't move 20 in charge. Just
Someone should tell that to Calgar.
I know.
All right, Gene Stealer Paul, who has one of the best avatars. It's a Gene Stealer holding a pair of Levi's up. I love
Incredible.
it. That's great. Has a question, which is: Have you played on stream and enjoyed it? Sorry, there was a number of words in there that didn't need to be in there. What would you wave a magic wand and change about live Warhammer streams? Are the two questions. So, have you ever enjoyed being on stream, and what would you change about being on stream?
I could not tell you the last time I enjoyed being on stream. The lights give me a headache. The experience is broadly just like harder to do the thing that's already hard to do. Like, I think the problem with this is that baseline that playing Warhammer is not actually easy. Like, it's a pain in the ass in a lot of ways often. Adding the like trapdoor of get screamed at by the internet because they don't know how the game works either does not improve the Warhammer playing experience. Just some form of like compensation, maybe. Like just something. Buy the players lunch. Give them a fucking drink. Like something. You know? I don't know. I have like really firm opinions in this space. Like it's just hard to want to play on stream. It's always uncomfortable. It's a pain in the ass. It's, there's always some level of burden that gets put on the players. If you're not literally doing it for a living, there's basically no upside.
I like being on stream, but I also have very different incentives, right? So
that's what I was saying, right? You are incentivized. For most people, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like having good protections for like I think every stream table should have a person who is actively allowed to be a judge at that table.
Yep.
To like keep the players protected from the internet, and I think that should be a thing that you just have to have. Like one of the things that Mikey from Hellstorm did when he was doing reviews is like he would tell the TOs, I am going to actively judge this table, and I don't care. I'm going to listen. I'm going to read the chat. I'm going to tell the players if they're making mistakes, and you're just going to be okay with that if you want me to stream your tournament. And I think that like you have to be a pretty good player to make that call that you are capable of actively judging. And I know that there are some people out there like Joe who are just not at that level where they're going to go and tell two people who are good at the game that they're making a mistake. But I think that you should if you want to do it properly.
That's fair.
And I think that that's the thing that I would like to see going forward is that, the person on stream is empowered to protect the players, right? Like, hey, if they see someone making a mistake on stream, they go and tell them, hey, you made a mistake there. Like, we're going to fix it so that it doesn't affect the outcome of the game kind of stuff.
Yep. I just, as somebody who sees like the stream experience and has only ever played on stream on like Twitch for like TTS stuff, I can't imagine doing it in person because of the way that our game works. And it seems like something that will just make me as like a fairly average player just like lose my fucking shit trying to be perfect when somebody
It
could
just
get
makes
mad.
people anxious.
Yeah.
Too.
Like I can only imagine the anxiety of being on the stream. That seems crazy. I can't do that. And then Ian has the last question in the Patreon Discord, and then I tagged a couple. How many Catan is the correct amount of Catan?
1 to 4, I think, is probably where I would stop. I don't think I would like to go much past that.
It felt like 2 was the perfect number when I was looking at lists, but like
I think I can see like 4 in Pantheon, but I don't think I would go
Sure.
beyond that really.
Yep. I think that's about the space that I'm trying to live in. Mostly because there's so many things that are good.
There's so many good things in Necrons, right?
Like you can just,
Their chaff is like nonsense cheap sometimes.
a lot of the time. I was talking about this in the weekend.
Yeah.
In World Leaders, if your list is 60 points like 1940. There is nothing you can add to it. That is crazy when you start playing. Like
And you're doing better than EC, right?
Yeah.
EC is even worse.
yeah, for reasons I can't think of, I've been writing a lot of Necron lists lately, and it's so much easier. You can just any amount of points you have left over, you can find a way to move something, plug somewhere else. You're
like,
good.
I guess I'll just turn this unit into 2 units. It's
Yeah.
like 20. Oh, this Flayed One squad's going to become 2 destroyers. Okay, cool.
Yep.
It's not even meaningfully worse.
My new favorite thing is actually the no downside flayed ones with the Deceiver in your list. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
let's buy a little spot for a Transcendent Satan. Great, you can't infiltrate there. Excellent. All right, bye. They're going to go hold my home field now.
Yep.
So annoying.
Or charge turn 1 into your lone op that you left in a slightly greedy position. And
To be fair, you have to be real greedy. Those boys move 5.
I've seen some crazy Eldar players out there putting their Walter Wheelers in some dog shit positions
I guess.
in the olden days.
That's fair. All right.
So I can't wait to do that. No, I can't wait to do that nonsense with scouts in Warden's lists.
All right.
Yeah.
Kara Quinn has a question. Thank you for the $2 super chat. What happened to White Scar's detachment? Is it just not good?
No, it's quite good. I think it's actually. I would say the White Scars detachment, if you run it with like a Raven and stuff, is the best not Ultra's base book thing.
Yeah, that might be fair. It's up there with I think it's about as good as the Hammer and Shadow and oh my god, I've forgotten it. Shadow Mark. There we go. I think it's in that space of it's fine, but Ultramarines and Blood Angels are there, dude. Why are we doing this to yourself?
I mean, it's just Ultras, right? Ultras are so far ahead. I think you can make a reasonable comparison between White Scars and BA, actually, but Ultras are miles ahead of everyone, and it just doesn't matter.
I think I agree.
Ben Jurek has a question, which is I've hosted all the stat check hosts except for Nathan. How can we fix that? Vegas is hard to want to go to sometimes.
But
I guess
Ben's
I could.
house is barely like going to Vegas. You can skip all the Vegas shit to go to Ben's.
We did one buffet, and that was about it. And that was the best part of Vegas.
Yeah,
was doing a buffet. So
I just need a reason to go to Vegas. Is essentially all that it is. You need to find me a reason.
I might do LVO this year. You want to come out with that?
I would do that just to see Ennis again. I won't lie. I would do that. I enjoy hanging out with Ennis.
I'm chasing the dragon this year, right? So
yeah, have a couple of us there just to I guess I don't do it there anymore. But Red Rodbert has a question that I thought was kind of interesting, which is seeing a lot of incursives and marine lists. Why take them over scouts or infiltrators?
Haywire mines are fucking stupid. Scouts really good, and the +1 to hit is not irrelevant when you need to kill something that's not old.
And they're decent melee.
And they're decent in melee. My true addiction is popping a transport with the Haywire mine.
Oh, that's cool. That's right.
No.
Yeah, fucking rip your turn. Do it in the command phase.
Yep. I think the best timing to do it is the movement phase.
No, it's not this phase. It's this turn.
It's this turn that it's restricted. So I think if you do it in the movement phase, there's a chance they spend a CP to battle. There's a chance they could spend a CP to all pass the battle shock in case they live to do a card, or they could fail a battle shock to not be able to use a CP against it, or stuff like that, right? Technically, I think it's better to do it in the command phase. Also, they don't know if they have it alive or not for the purpose of discarding cards, which I think technically means you should do it in the movement phase.
That's fair.
Also, really, really tiny thing. Technically, if you do it in the movement phase, you can overwatch the contents because they're set up in the movement phase.
Oh,
that's weird. I don't like that.
So I think the movement phase is correct.
Are you talking about in your opponent's movement phase? You're throwing the Haywire mine.
You pop the transport in your opponent's movement phase.
Sorry. I was just my brain suddenly stuttered a little bit as I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I did it in the command phase round 1, and I was like, oh, I should have done that in the movement phase because it could have absorbed an order just in case it lived to do a card or something like that, right?
No.
So,
and the last question that I'll do is from Chainsaw Biceps 5520.
Hell yeah. Any relation to Pasha?
Anthony, do you think Drakari suffers extra from the possible Necron meta shift?
Of fucking course they do, dude. Of fucking course. The brief flash in the pan of Spectacle of Spite needs to take an extra L from another army that they can't handle at all.
No, dude, they're totally fine into Scintillating Legion and Catan metagame.
Terrible, dude.
God, like, is there any army more vulnerable to the Silent King's indirect than Drukhari?
Dude, it's fucking cursed.
How does
Shit, my Venom died to this.
Yeah.
The real question is, how does a Drukhari even come close to killing a Catan?
Like,
Like,
Hellions roll
with
+1
what?
attack and strength on the go turn.
They'll
You
get
might
some
pop-
of it.
You might pop
Yeah.
1 if you shoot them with 3 squads of Scourges first.
yeah.
And then you'll get tabled by the other ones for what it's worth.
Yeah, well, that's not matter. That doesn't matter.
And then I guess we'll just do this question because it's relatively quick. Shadow Sun asks, is a unit of scouts and incursors close to mandatory for Marine builds?
I don't think so. The incursors part I'm not like sold on being mandatory. Scouts I
don't
really like having, but neither of them are mandatory. I don't think.
I don't think either of them are mandatory, but I would really like 1 squad of each in basically every list.
Yeah.
I think you would have to come up with a really good reason not to have one of them, and a pretty good reason not to have one of each, unless you're like there are things you can say like I am playing Blood Angels. Okay, I'm comfortable with you skipping incursors, right? So
Yeah.
All right. And that is it for questions. I will open up the spreadsheet while Innes does some closing stuff.
I don't really have anything to do here. Like I'm done.
Fair. I have to open
I
I have to open a doc.
Um,
All right,
I hope
I got it.
everybody's having a good day. I hope your 14th of January is going well. It's sick, right?
I rolled the Hellions into the Satan once with strength and attacks and did 6 damage. So
Sick.
Nice.
I don't know if that's the average, but
That's what
if
you
that's
got.
what happens, you're not going to be happy afterwards.
That's true.
No.
If anyone has any recommendations for cool things to do in London, I'm going to be there for a month, so I
mean, there's
got
lots
time.
of cool things to do in London.
I know, but I'm not a very adventurous person, so
Logan,
I-
get him.
I was going to say go to Borough Market, at least look around and see if there's something you would like to eat. There was a lot of good food when we went there. Go through the graffiti tunnel near Waterloo Station. It was awesome as fuck. Go see that.
I don't want to do like super touristy stuff in Martine, but yes.
Yeah. All right. So if you do the most expensive tier of our Patreon, which is the $15 a month, Crisp High 5 tier, you get a bunch of in-person benefits like challenge tokens and stuff, which you also might get if you're just an awesome opponent. And kisses from the Polish folks on the who are part of our network still, supposedly. And then you get these call outs at the end of every episode where we thank you for being in this tier. So thank you. Thank you to Christopher. Fucked it. We balled too hard against Innes on stream. Riding too high on the stream. Cursed to carry him, Irvine. Thank you to Willow Weeks. Thank you to Dan F. Thank you to Luke Harridans taking the Subway McCarthy. Thank you to David Shrug Emoji Clark. Thank you to Exhausted. Thank you to James H. Thank you to Colton Dan F. Miller. Thank you to Fungus. Thank you to John V8 Gang. Mr. Calgar. I don't feel so good. ... Thank you to Cam, F. Dan, Morton, Hog Emoji. Thank you to Lady Malice's Footstool. Thank you to Josiah Gattel. Thank you to Grizzled Frankie. Thank you to Isaac. I would like to directly apologize to Kazra for killing a Stormraven from full with 1 Lehman Russ Exterminator, and Calgar with 2 tanks, bottom of 1, and 8 damage to a Redemptor and cover Tirada. Thank you to Adelie. Penguins are tiny, amoral monsters. Okay. Dang. I was like not expecting a penguin fact there. Okay.
Hilarious.
Thank you to Thomas, a Warhound with 2 turbo laser destructors, averages 13 wounds on a Catan. I'm ready for equation. Thank you to Stephen, going 15 and charging with strength 8, -1 to hit / wound Lich Guard. It is neat, Ross. Thank you to Tom, Gorgon Khan, Submarine Services H. Thank you to Custodian Guard, are now cheap enough where I bring 30 with 690 transports to a singles RTT. Just roll 4s. How hard could it be? Thank you to Hart. Thank you to Floof. Happy holidays to the StatCheck crew. I hope you know what a positive influence you all have been. Also, Slugma Cox. Thank you to Come With Me on a Gucci Adventure, trademarked. Thank you to Nerfed for Crimes Committed by Better Players.
Aw.
Thank you to John Garza. Thank you to Henry. Scientists brought penguins to the Arctic in the 1930s, but the locals saw them as demons and killed them. The Wizard. Damn, that's a very depressing penguin fact.
That's a tough one, dude.
Damn. Thank you to Penny. Thank you to Penny the Penguin. Will be very sad if Static ends. Please do not make Penny the Penguin sad. This is your penguin fact. And then thank you to Matthew, Paint Engine Aficionado. And holy crap, are there a lot of tabs at the bottom?
Don't worry about that.
Don't
If you don't
engage
think
with
about
them.
it, it can't hurt you.
If you
Just
don't
not
engage
gonna
with
think
them,
about
we don't
them.
have to know about the fan fiction.
It's true. There is fan fiction tabs. That's all I'll say. Thank you everybody for participating in our Patreon. We appreciate it a lot. And I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next show on next Tuesday.
Yeah, if you're at a tournament this weekend, very best of luck. Unless you're playing Necrons, in which case I hope your army gets nerfed by Friday.
In case you're playing Necrons, in which case I am going to siphon all your luck and return to my rightful throne as the feel no pain save god.
I'm also not opposed to the idea. Let's see what happens by the time the UKTC Manchester comes around.
Innes has seen me roll between Drukaris in the old days and then World Eaters over time. Innes has seen me roll
Tyranids.
Yes, and Tyranids. Innes has seen me roll some fucking feel no pains in my day. So
look, all I know is somewhere deep in the dark depths of Eastern Europe, a certain man woke up with just sweats.
The crowned king, he who rests.
On that note, bye-bye.